Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. In this lesson we're going to be learning about bar chords and how to use them effectively with Eric Clapton's version of Cocaine as our practice song. If you've been wanting to strengthen your bar chord knowledge, especially the A shape, you're in the right place. We'll break down the basics of the A shape bar chords, learn how to form them correctly, and see how they're applied in a real song. To make things easier, I've prepared a PDF with all of the A-shape chord diagrams and a few bonus exercises to help you master these chords. You can grab it via the link in the description and it will take you to my website, simplyguitar.com. Are you ready? Let's go. Movable chords are chord shapes that can be shifted up and down the guitar neck to play different chords without changing the shape of your fingers. This technique leverages the fact that the guitar is a transposable instrument where the same pattern or shape produces different notes depending on its position of the fretboard. As an example, if I was to play a simple scale and then I move it up by 2 frets, we have exactly the same scale transposed up by a tone. This is different to our open chords. For example, if I played an open C chord and then moved it up, it doesn't turn into a C sharp chord. That's because we haven't moved those open string notes. Now, this is where it differs to bar chords. Because when we play a bar chord, we kind of have a movable nut. If you're not sure, the nut on the guitar is this bit. That means that when we move the chords up, we're moving every single note in the chord, so we are transposing the chord as we're going up. When we move a bar chord across the neck, we are moving the root note and all of those movable nut notes, which means that the whole chord is changing. Movable chords can be major, minor, seventh, or any other type depending on the specific shape being used. The root note of a chord is just the starting point for determining its name. On the guitar, the root note can be on any string, but common positions for the movable chords place the root note on the 6th string, the low E, the 5th, or the D strings. Now these kind of relate to the E shape bar chords, the A shapes, and also the D shapes. Now I did do a video on the D shape bar chords where you play Fly Me to the Moon, so if you're up for that, click the link in the top right corner. By identifying the root note at a specific fret on these strings so you can determine a chord's name, you can use these movable shapes in different positions, making the guitar easy to navigate. Practicing these chords that I'm going to teach you is going to enhance your knowledge of the fretboard, as you need to know the notes on the strings to identify the chords. Two of the most common bar chord shapes are derived from the open E and A major chords. Now let's have a look at playing our E-shaped bar chord. We'll first need to play our normal open E major chord, then we need to adjust our fingers so that our index finger is free. While still playing the E major chord with the other 3 fingers, now what we can do is wiggle our finger and get it ready for the bar. Now, shift your fingers up by 1 fret and place the bar over all 6 strings. This creates a movable E-shaped bar chord. The root note for this chord is now an F, so this is what we'd call an F chord. Of course, if I wanted it to move up to any of these root notes on the E string, it could be whatever chord it is. So for example, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then A. Now let's have a look at playing our open A-shaped bar chord. We first again need to play a normal open A major chord. Then we need to swap our fingers round so that our index finger is free. While still playing the A major chord with these 3 fingers, move up the fret, and then you can pop your finger on there, and that's the bar. Now the root note's now on the A string for this chord. This is now an A sharp chord, or you could call it a B flat chord as well. And then of course, depending on which note the root note is on, we play a different chord. So this one here would be an E, because this is the root note. Now this is the technique to transform an open chord into a bar chord. Here's the position for a major A-shape bar chord. Eric Clapton uses his little finger to bar the D, the G, and the B strings, muting the high E string to play this shape. So use this when we play the Cocaine song later. You can apply this concept to our 5 open A chord shapes as a base point. So I'm talking about the major, minor, minor 7, major 7, and dominant 7. Follow the technique we used earlier. For example, with the major 7 chord shape, what you do is you play the open major 7 chord, swap your fingers around so that your first finger's hanging off, move it up by a fret, and then you can put the 1st fret on there. And now this is an A sharp major 7 or a B flat major 7. And you can now move this shape anywhere. Okay, let's have a look at the main verse of Cocaine, which uses only our major A shape. And remember what I said earlier about Eric Clapton barring that D, G, and B for the A shape if you can. So I'll play it with the tabs and then we'll talk about it. Okay, cool. So remember what I said about starting on this A shape? We're playing 1 and 2 and. That's the rhythm, right? 1 and 2 and I think downward strumming. And then it's on the and there, okay? So let's give it a go. So it goes 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. And again, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we do have a repeat sign, and that's kind of, it just repeats an awful lot during that first bit. So if you remember those words, if you wanna hang out, you got to take her out, cocaine. When the day is done and you wanna ride on cocaine. Okay, now for this next little section, so we repeat that a few times, and then it goes, she don't lie, she don't lie, she don't lie, cocaine. Now what we're doing there, okay, is we're practicing what we preach. We've chosen one chord shape, and we're playing 4 different major chords. We have E major here on the 7th fret, that's our E chord, and then it goes to a D, and then it goes to a C, and then it goes to a B. Cocaine, and then we have E, E, D, E. Okay, so it's one chord shape using this movable shape. Wonderful. Now, how about a bit of the solo? I'll put the tabs on the screen and you can give this a go if anyone fancies it. Okay, if you're practicing this at home, do a bit of a loop. So I'll loop it with the pedal. Ready? Here we go. That's it for today's lesson. I really hope you've enjoyed learning how to use A-shaped bar chords with Eric Clapton's Cocaine as your guide. Remember, mastering bar chords takes time and practice, so don't rush. Focus on getting the shapes clean and your transitions smooth. Don't forget to download the PDF with all of the A-shaped chord diagrams and bonus exercise. It's a great resource to keep practicing. You can find the link in the description below. If you found this lesson helpful, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future lessons. Let me know in the comments how you're progressing or if there's another song or technique that you'd like to learn next. Thanks for playing along with me, keep practicing and I'll see you in the next lesson. Happy playing!